Hey everybody, welcome back. This is HD, and this is going to be the Wednesday Daily HD Ladder Show. And I am going to be playing Terran, as you guys see here. Finally going to be posting some of these Terran games that I've been playing on my alternate account. And as you guys can see, I finally settled on a name. It is Pink Bunny. And I want to thank you guys all for suggesting your suggestions for what the name of the second account should be. I definitely took those into consideration, and I finally settled with this name. Don't ask me why I picked it. I'm actually starting to kind of regret it, because after playing a couple of games on ladder, I've gotten some very creepy messages afterwards, which has made me realize that if you are a girl or you want to pick a very feminine name on any internet website or gaming service, be careful about it. Be ready to be spammed by a lot of strange messages. So, as you guys all know, I pick random names. I really don't care whatever I pick. So, hopefully you guys enjoy either way. Now, this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, as I said before. Obviously, I am a Zerg player, so I'm not all that familiar with Terrans or Protoss, and especially unfamiliar with Terran versus Protoss. Definitely my most vague matchup. But I have been playing on this account quite a bit for the last few days, and unfortunately I lost one placement match, so I did get put into the Gold League. But I have been able to climb pretty high, and I've been playing against a lot of 2,000 plus diamonds lately, so imagine the look on their faces when they lose to Pink Bunny, who's in Gold League. But yeah, this is going to be hopefully a pretty good game. My opponent is Spyboard, something like that. And so, yeah, Terran versus Protoss, I think, is a pretty dynamic matchup, especially when it gets down to that late game when things just kind of go crazy and you're dropping and you're managing your bio. But you really, as a Terran player, I don't think you want to get into a super late game versus Protoss, because I feel like Protoss, you know, they're the super powerful race. They're the ones that have the beefiest, bulkiest units. They have the most powerful endgame army. You don't really want to deal with that. So, as a Terran player, there's a couple of strategies you can use. Opening the game off, I think that 2 barracks is definitely the most viable strategy, going 2 barracks into command center. And the reason for that is because you will need some of your bread and butter units, your bio, your Marines and Marauders, early on to deal with any kind of early Protoss aggression, whether it be 4-gate or 3-gate Robo, or even Stargate Harass. So you really do need a couple of barracks early on. And once you've gotten some pretty good forces out, you eventually get your command center, you get your fast natural, and then you bunker it up and you just play standard bio. This is what's going to be my game strategy. This is what I've been practicing as a Terran player versus Protoss, just standard bio play. I haven't really gotten into the mech world yet. But yeah, as any other matchup, I'm getting a good scout off into my opponent's base. I see that he's got a gateway and a cyber core. And I am going to get a Reaper, as you guys see. That first tech lab, I'm using it to research concussive shells, and I simultaneously built a Reaper. And you guys might be wondering, why the heck did I get a Reaper? Reapers have been nerfed to hell. What good are they? Well, they're actually really good for controlling the Xel'Naga Watchtower early on, which on this map with these spawn positions is absolutely vital. Number 2, they're very, very good for scouting. Excuse me, that was actually my vent noise. They're very, very good for scouting if you can run them into the Protoss base. Essentially, they're a flying unit that comes out of the barracks, so you should not discount the Reaper as a unit that you can use to scout, and you can bring it in, find out what your enemy Protoss is doing after the Cybernetics Core. As a Terran player, you'll want to see what the Protoss is doing after Cyber Core, whether it be fast Nexus, although I guess you wouldn't get a Nexus after a Cybernetics Core in that manner, but after the Cybernetics Core, you want to look for either Stargate or 4-gate or a 3-gate Robo. These are all strategies, or even Blink Stalkers. These are all strategies that you really have to scout out, and this Reaper can definitely provide you that vision. So as you guys can see, trying to bring the Reaper in, trying to get inside the Protoss base to see what's going on, and of course back at home, always macroing. You don't want to focus. This goes for Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. You don't want to focus on scouting too much, you know, to the point where you forget to build stuff at home. So it looks like I was able to see 3 warp gates, and I saw them all morphing into warp gates at the same time. So I didn't get a full scout off into my opponent's base, but I have to account for the possibility that this is a 4-gate attack. So I am going to have to throw down a 4th barracks, and I'm going to have to get a bunker up at my ramp. And so there's the bunker, there's my 4th barracks going up.
Not enough minerals.
And note that the entire time I have my reactor just pumping Marines and my Tech Labs all making Marauders. Marines and Marauders, the bread and butter of Terran play versus Protoss. You can't go wrong without them. You need them both. It's pretty much essential to winning against Protoss play because Marauders are so good against gateway units. And then what are Marines good against? They're good against Stargate units such as Phoenix or Void Rays, and they're good against Immortals, so they're good against 3-gate Robo. So this is all just basic starting strategies for Terran play. If you guys are Terran players out there, and you guys are under, I would say around 1500 diamond, then hopefully you guys can take something from this, because I feel like my skill level right now as Terran is probably around 1500-ish. So if you're a Terran or a Protoss, hopefully this helps you out in some way. And really at this point, I'm just building up forces. I'm just playing it cautious, playing it safe. I don't want to move out and grab my natural yet until I feel safe and until I feel like I have enough units. All too often players don't, they forget that you can use 2 command centers and you can mule up and build up your SCV count at double the rate, but you don't have to expose your command center at your natural quite yet until you feel safe to do so. So this really helps you get oversaturated at your main, and then you can transfer your workers over when you feel safe. So it looks like I'm gonna get my bunkers down. I'm gonna get 2 bunkers at the front, just in case my opponent is indeed going for a hard 4-gate, and maybe he's just building up a bunch of forces. It looks like he's not, though. I'm throwing down my comsat right now because I was getting a little curious what he was doing, and it looks like it is gonna be some Void Ray play. So in order to deal with this, obviously I'm just gonna have to pump a lot of Marines out of my barracks, even the ones that have Tech Labs on them. I'm gonna just get as many Marines as I can. And I'm gonna also get my engineering bay and get those missile turrets up. So that way I'll be able to defend against the 4-gate or the Void Rays, as well as any ground units. And of course I'm gonna get my saturation going at both my main and my natural. So here comes the first Void Ray. I'm gonna be able to push that away pretty easily. And I think at this point, if I can hold off the inevitable Protoss attack, because really, if in Terran vs Protoss, it's really about holding off that inevitable Protoss attack at the early mid-game. If I can hold it off, then I should be in a pretty good position, because I've gone for this economic opening, I've gone for a fast expansion. I'm quite positive that my opponent doesn't have his Nexus down yet, because he's gone for 3 Warp Gates plus Stargate. So as long as I can hold on to this natural, I should be in a good position. So as you guys can see, just continuing to build up my Bioforce, getting that mix of Marauders and Marines, and here comes that inevitable Protoss attack I was talking about. My opponent here engaging where my bunkers are, and he is laying down a couple of force fields. The idea there, if you're Protoss, is you want to split the Marines and Marauders and take the front half first, but it looks like he didn't really lay down the best force fields, and of course, because I've got 2 bunkers there, it just becomes really, really difficult for Protoss to break. He's also bringing in a Void Ray here, which is really smart. He's trying to do some kind of a 2-pronged attack. And so that's definitely a good idea if you're Protoss and you're making an attack like this. But thankfully, I've got some bio back at home. I should be able to defend against it quite easily. And note that I'm just now starting to get my gas going. The entire game, I've actually been running off of 1 gas. To do this 4 racks expand build, you really only need 1 gas until you go up for the factory and you go for upgrades and you go for your starport and you get dropships and Vikings. You won't really need more than 1 gas. So eventually you will, I will get those extra gases. As you guys can see here, I'm getting my factory and my starport. And the idea is really just to get the reactor on the factory, swap it with the starport, pump mass dropships, and you can even use the factory to just float around and do scouting after that. You really don't need it. It looks like my opponent once again is going to be attacking me with this pesky Void Ray. And a lot of times when players see this Void Ray in there, they'll think, oh, I have to pull back all of my forces from the center, but that's not actually the case. I'm in an aggressive position, I control the map, and all I have to do is just pump a couple Marines, repair whatever buildings are being attacked, and I should be able to deal with the Void Ray. And at the same time, I can make an attack at the center of the field. So there comes my attack. And of course, using Stim when I engage, pushing forward, and making sure I get a good surface area to attack all my enemy forces. So at the same time, here comes the backup Marines to deal with that Void Ray, and if I had pulled back my Marines and Marauders from that Void Ray, then I actually would not have been able to make this attack, and my opponent would have been able to secure his natural expansion. So if you're ever in that position and you're being attacked, and it's only one unit, and you already got defenses like missile turrets, don't pull back your entire army to deal with that. Pull back a few is possible, or just wait for reinforcements. So in that way, you'll be able to make an attack with your main army. So as you guys can see, I'm going to be able to work my way up the ramp, and it looks like I may actually be able to just end the game right here and now. It looks like he was even going for a 6-gate there, so really was an aggressive Protoss play, but I was able to take him out. So Pink Bunny gets promoted as well, so I forgot I actually got promoted after that game. And so now I'm in Platinum, and let's go ahead and take a look at Slybrute's profile, the guy that I was playing against. He was a 2100 Protoss on ladder. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and I'm going to be bringing out more ladder games, both Zerg, Terran, and Protoss. And of course, I will still be doing pro games. I've got this really good game coming up soon with 2 Korean gamers, and I'll be uploading that as soon as I have some time, hopefully by tomorrow or 2 days from now. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in, and continue to stay tuned to the shows. HD signing out.